Hi. I was told that you wanted to know how I make my covers for my books. And I'm sorry that this is probably going to be a little bit of a shaky video, but I don't have a phone stand to record. But really all I do is a lot of my book covers are 9x6 because an 8.5x11 sheet of paper folded over fits really well in that. So an example of a 9x6 cover would be something I would just cut out of some cardboard. Just plain old cardboard. It's an old box. And if you look, when you place the paper on it, it's a really nice size. So 9x6 fits a folded over 8.5x11 sheet of paper. Super nice. So what can you use? Like I showed you, just some basic cardboard. I just saved some pieces of cardboard from Amazon boxes, or I work at the school, so I tend to have shipping boxes from some of the school supplies. So I keep cardboard around. But I also wanted to show you that you can use any kind of tag board or thicker board. This happens to be obviously some, what are these? Juice gummy things. Anyway, it's from a box of that I made this cover out of. And as long as it's as firm as you like, if you like it thicker, you might not want to use something this thin, but that's totally up to you. Other things that I've used, I used to work at Aveda, so we had some cute little Aveda boxes, so I've kept things like this. I haven't quite figured out how to get it to be exactly 9x6 without cutting off an end, but you can use that. The other thing you can use is actually old books all by themselves. Now this one isn't 9x6, but it's an old book. I just painted over the spine. The insides were falling out, so I cut it out. So I will cut paper. Oh, look, I already did. To size to fit in there. And then I have 3 signatures that'll go in the book, like this. And I'll sew them in, which is a totally different video. But then you'd have a journal full of all of your paper. So that is some things that you can use. Once you use your cardboard, you can decorate it any way you want. This is just some of my own watercolor with a butterfly punch out that I glued on top and some letters that I glued on top. And then you can either use Mod Podge to seal in the color and make sure that if it ever gets wet, it doesn't run, or this is a little bit more expensive. Actually, it's a lot more expensive, but it's called matte gel, and it is honestly the best stuff ever. So more expensive, but it works really well. So you would cover that. I just used an old paper towel that I covered in either Mod Podge or matte gel. That's the spine. And then I just decorated the back with old book pages, some more cutouts, cutouts from a magazine, cutouts from a book. Yep, that's what I did for that one. And then I have all the, oop, I wrote in that one. Oh, that's all my personal thoughts. Oh my gosh. Okay. The other thing I've done is I actually just really liked this purple page from a flower magazine. So I just used pages from a magazine and covered it. You want to use a really good quality glue. I can show you what I use. Oh, you can tell how much I love this glue because of how dirty the bottle is, but it's called glitter glue. No, it does not have glitter in it, but it is actually called the glitter glue, and it is the best glue probably in the world. So again, I just have this. I have a cutter which is 6 inches wide, and I can actually just use a box cutter, and I cut it to 9 inches. It's gonna fall. And I just use a box cutter to cut that out. Doobity-doo. And then you get 2 that are the same. Another thing I like to use is old board game boards. This stuff is the best because it's super strong. It's also thin, but you can cut this with a box cutter as well, and it makes an awesome book cover. The next book I will probably gut this old book of quotations. Happens to be a really nice size for 8.5 and 11. And what I'll do is I'll cut out all of the insides. I'll save these to use to decorate other journals, but I'll just use the cover itself. And this will be a super thick one. Normally my spines are about 1 inch. I also used some packaging from a product I got one time, and this is like a box that I cut, and the box had a plastic window display, so you could use that. This one is, again, just some acrylic paint, some of my own artwork, and it's a little bit thinner, so I'm assuming that was like a cereal box or something. This is cardboard, but then I had tissue paper and I put ink on it, and then I like Mod Podged or matte gelled it onto here, and it was really, really rough. So then I used one of my sanders. I don't know where it is right now, but I used a sanding block or sandpaper to kind of take down the rough edges, and then I added another layer of either matte or shiny Mod Podge on top to make it smooth. So that is the top of a book, or the cover of a book. I also just use some scrapbook paper, rip it into pieces. Again, using really good glue is imperative. This is what the inside looks like until you cover it. This is just done with pieces of paper. This is how I cover the inside. How you do the spine, again, that's a totally different video. But you just cover it with what you have and what you like. This one is a fabric one, and it's not one, I don't do a lot with fabric anymore, but I got a leather spine cover, and it's just red cloth. That's all it is. It's kind of boring, actually. Here's probably the back cover to the other one that I did. This is another one with fabric. Again, I don't use a lot with fabric anymore, but I did this. I got a cute little magnet in here, which actually makes it shut, sort of. Anyway, it's one of my first ones, so it's not the best. And this is kind of cool because this is a shopping bag, like just a paper bag, that you can make to look like faux leather and just add a little ink to it. And it's kind of cool looking. Anyway, here's the other side of the other tissue one. Just a 9x6 piece of board. And that's about it. Good glue and a sharp cutting blade and a surface that you can cut on without ruining things. So I hope that helps.